Let's see what the knuckleheads at the IWCNN have conjured up.
Okay, so here is Kota Ibushi with a terrible staph infection recently, and people were wondering what this is. That's just really bad staph. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's how dare you do that. But it's like, I don't know, man. Lots of guys get it if you're like on the mats. And so I don't know. It's gross. And yeah, you maybe shouldn't wrestle. You're going to spread it around, but it could happen if you go to the gym.
Looks like his back has an eyeball.
Yeah, dude, he better get that taken care of, though, because that's like real bad. You don't want to get Kevin Randleman.
Yeah, it's going to grow another Kota Ibushi.
yeah, exactly. If head will spurt out, maybe it'll do better moves.
Yeah, possibly. Tag team.
Yeah, maybe you can cut a promo. So that's harsh. Effie to replace Ricky Starks against Matt Cardona at GCW, highest in the room. Shout out Travis Scott. And yeah, Effie's going to replace Ricky Starks. We covered it on the show before, but yeah, we have a follow-up with Effie and Tony Khan, and then we'll talk about that a little bit later. So Lord White, the real Lord White of Soft Ground Uganda Wrestling, he's starting his own league. I don't know, but they're saying Triple H, like this random thing is like Pro Wrestle Feed is like Triple H has officially announced the launch of NXT Africa. Like, obviously he didn't do that, but the first installment in the NXT expansion series, the new brand will showcase talent from across the continent. Is this for real, or because Boom Bash sent it to Soft Ground's group telling them to be strong? Everything he says is either lies or something he's wrong about because he's very low IQ. God damn it. I love when people throw low IQ around. It's the funniest thing. But yeah, so Lord White's just saying, congrats, you managed to fool Pro Wrestle Feed and Boom Bash with this one. Some fake headline. And I don't know. I just bring it to you guys because we've been chronicling the Soft Ground Uganda here on PWT. So there's a little update. I guess they're still up to no good. Neckbeards posted this: next AEW multi-million-dollar contract game changers incoming. So Dave Meltzer in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter states that several New Japan contracts expire at the end of January, noting such names as Sabre Jr., ZSJ, former never open weight. They list all of his Jeff Cobb. So basically the only names in New Japan are like Zack Sabre, Jeff Cobb. They're going to become official free agents. Tony,
God damn.
Yeah, it's probably going to throw them up of money. And
they all sound like realtors. They don't sound like professional wrestlers. Like,
no.
What is going on? Like, come on, give me some great nicknames for these guys. Does Zack Sabre Jr. have a nickname? Does Jeff Cobb, who did my lawn last week? What's going on?
Zack Sabre Jr., bruv. He's like he's a technical wrestler. You know,
Callum Newman, my accountant.
So I don't know, man. Do you think Tony throws like millions at Zack Sabre to like keep him from going anywhere? Or obviously it's not a game changer. Like, just any thoughts on these New Japan? Like, do you think Tony cares, or do you think WWE makes a play for any of these guys even?
For what reason? If Zack Sabre, how long has been Zack Sabre Jr.? I can't speak tonight. Zack Sabre Jr. How long has he been on the Indies? How long has he been a pro?
Years, dude. Decades.
Decades? Okay. Well, you know, if you haven't gotten to the big leagues yet, then you're not going to. And we could talk about AJ Styles, but he's 1 in a trillion. But Zack Sabre Jr., you're not it. Jeff Cobb, don't even know who the hell you are. And Callum Newman, call me back. I told you about my APR mortgage loan.
Yeah, Zack Sabre was in the Cruiserweight Classic one year, and then I think they offered him a contract and he turned it down or something. So it's like, whatever. He doesn't want to be there. Doesn't want to embrace the grind, bro. Maria Kanellis reveals cancer-free status after tumor battle. I guess it went over to Ibushi's back there. But either way, it's sorry. Yeah.
Why'd you say it like that, Phil? She's cancer-free.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. Well, it's because it's good for her, dude. That's amazing, actually. Yeah. You know, so prayers up for her, and I guess our best wishes work. You know, here's Ariel Helwani defending himself
against what?
Well, the Sickos, man, because people come at him because he interviews Eric Bischoff, or he just says, "What do you think about AEW?" And then Eric Bischoff goes off on a tangent, and somehow that's Ariel Helwani's fault. Now, also, we've played on the show. You know, Ariel Helwani and the boys in the back showed them all out. They were like kind of making fun of the Costco guys. Like they're like, oh, come on, that's not going to change things around for them. And like Ariel's obviously joking, and the boys in the back are roasting it, you know, and that sort of thing. So I get it. They're mad. Oh, he interviews he interviewed Cody Rhodes, you know, he interviewed Punk. We hate him. But here's Ariel just defending his wrestling fandom, the same thing we've all had to do, but we're tired of doing. But obviously Ariel's on his own now, so he's gonna do it now, and he's interviewing more wrestlers, and I love it. He's shining light on both products, dude. He's shining light on AEW too. And if you guys don't like that people's opinion of AEW is that it's Bush League, then you need to look yourselves in the mirror. I don't know.
Speaking of that Eric Bischoff interview, a lot of people, as I predicted, how did I know? So very upset afterwards and blaming me, thinking that I'm in cahoots or something. I'll say it once, I'll say it a million times. First of all, I love when they say this is the sad state of wrestling journalism. I'm not a wrestling journalist.
Boom. He's not a wrestling journalist. That's the key thing. He's just a fan, so he interviews wrestlers. And now, is that some form of journalism because he's a legit journalist? Yes, but he hires other people to cover the wrestling. And yeah, when he's talking MMA, you listen. When he's talking pro wrestling, it's just his opinion. And yeah, to get mad over what Eric Bischoff's been saying for 2 years at Helwani, and yeah, they just think he's a shill. But it's man. Anyone who actually listens knows that.
I love the art form. I love the form of entertainment. I don't cover it on a day-to-day basis, so I don't think it would be fair to call myself a wrestling journalist. I have no vendetta, no skin in the game. I don't work for WWE. Yes, Nick Khan was my agent. I'm the one who has brought this up a gazillion times. You're not revealing anything by bringing this up. I hardly speak to them. I've tried to get AEW people on the show a gazillion times. They can tell you all about it.
Well, we won't let them, because one time I had an awkward interview on his show, and that was his fault too, that I coughed and choked on phlegm in the middle. Did you ever see that interview? Awful. With
of course
Ariel
I did. And any interview that he has with anybody, he gives them absolutely nothing. So
and what's
the point of having him on twice?
Yeah, and he like gagged like at the start. He's like, "Oh, excuse me," and he's like throwing up off camera. Tony Khan during that Ariel interview, it was the weirdest thing ever. And Ariel's sitting there like, "What the what's wrong with this guy?" And
withdrawal.
Yeah, like what was that? Go back and watch it. Anyone can go watch it. I actually need that clip for the next video. I'm gonna dig that up. But the next music video. But yeah, it's like Tony Khan came and gave this guy an awkward ass interview, and the fans are still mad at Ariel because Nick Khan was his agent a long time ago. Nick Khan was a lot of people's agents a long time ago. That used to be what his job was. What the?
They're not very.
That was jobs in WWE. Do you guys not have jobs? Do you guys not get how this works? You know.
Be helpful in that regard. Although I know that there are several who would like for them to be on the program. And of course, you'll then say, "Oh, why would they want him on? You know, why would they want this guy on the show? He'll talk like." I love wrestling. I'm a fan of wrestling. I push to have it a part of Uncrowned. There's no vendetta. Get over yourself. Stop being in your feelings. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop feeling sorry for the state of the company right now or making excuses. It's all very tribal and weird. There's no one out to get you. There's no one out to get them, and certainly not here on this show. And if you follow me, the best is when I see MMA fans say, "I'm a fan of your unbiased MMA journalism, but I don't like the way you talk about AEW." And it's like, if you know me as an MMA journalist and you know how I try to shine a light on the other promotions and champion the content.
Yeah, dude, Ariel's ride or die. He's all over UFC whenever he can, and he rides for like Bellator and the Saudis and PFL and all that. So he wants AEW to be great. Everyone does, other than awful, I think. But yeah,
you're goddamn right.
And he admits it. That's why we love him. But you know, a lot of people won't admit that, like, nah, WWE is good, or they won't admit, like, no, you're not really a big fan of this. You're just in this, like, cult thing, getting behind Tony Khan, and that's cool, too. But here's the other thing here, and that's enough of Ariel. Listen, we get the point. But he also hired, what's his name? Cam Hawk, Seahawk on Twitter, and he's, like, friends with AEW guys. That's who Ariel hired as his, like, writer, to cover wrestling or whatever. And he's like an AEW
Who the hell is
guy.
that?
Northern Seahawk on Twitter. I forget his name. Cam Hawkins, I want to say his name is. Okay. I don't know if it's. yeah, look him up. He's a personality on Twitter, and I'm surprised you guys never crossed paths. He's like a big voice, and he's worked for like a lot of publications. He's like a really well-known like writer in the wrestling space and stuff. And I like his, and he's like a very pro AEW guy. He hangs out with like Daniel Garcia, and I hate on Garcia. You know, a lot of people are like, dude, Garcia is why the company's dying. And that's who Ariel hired to like write for his new Uncrowned thing or whatever he's doing. So yeah, you guys got it twisted, you know, like he's not trying to hate on AEW. It's not his fault when people cut promos on it or when you just point out how it's Bush League. It's not anyone's fault but AEW's fault. So former WWE star Renee Dupree says he's going to get help for substance abuse issues. Now I don't need to read his whole statement here, but he just says the power of addiction is cunning and it was a bump in the road. So what happened was like Teddy Hart came on his stream and then he was like blacked out, wasted, and he didn't even really say anything up. But he was like ashamed of it the next day, and he's like gonna get help and stuff. I don't know. He jumped on a stream and was like super shameful and stuff. I just want to shout out Renee Dupree though, because I like his pod, and if he's struggling with, that's unfortunate. Prayers up for him. But like he didn't.
So I had this all wrong. Yeah. I thought Teddy Hart was the one that showed up on this because I'm only hearing about this recently. I thought Teddy Hart was the one that showed up.
No, well maybe he was up, but Renee was up too, and he like cut like an apology video the next day and was like, I'm so sorry, like I need help, blah blah blah. And yeah, Teddy's always up, so I don't know, was he? Who knows? You don't know if that he's always up in my mind, right? Dude's at least on some pills or something. So yeah, I don't know what was going on, but yeah, Renee is going to seek help for his stuff as well, and wishing him the best. And shout out Teddy Hart too, but he's a crazy ass dude. I mean, like, I don't know what kind of conversation you're gonna get out of him other than like a bunch of incoherent like nonsense, you know. So whatever though, they're boys.
Yeah, what's he been doing lately? I mean, and after that, it's just like, okay, well, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah. Well, no, do you want to know something awful? When I came on the air just now, like as I was setting up my live show, they were on the air again with Teddy Hart. I don't know if they were re-debuting or if they're like, we're going to do a sober cast or what, but I saw Cafe de Renee on air with Teddy Hart, or I don't know if it was just like a premiere of a clip or something. I'd have to look into it, but yeah. This right here, Kayla Becker. So what was her name again? Kayla Braxton. So she leaves WWE, and this girl here, someone on OnlyFans, YouTube doesn't like that. Sophie Rain. She claims she made $43 million in 1 year off OF. This one girl right here, dude, on the left.
I am transfixed with Kayla's picture there. She is a fox.
She is, dude. Stop simping, boys. Boys, stop simping, bro. 43 million.
Yeah.
Okay, and get it. I'm not hating, but like, god damn, 43 million. Oh my god, guys, there are things you could be doing. But yeah, so Kayla contemplates.
Do you believe that, by the way? $43 million.
No, I mean, really?
I say $4.3 million.
That's what I'm
$43 million is a lot of money for a girl that looks like every other OnlyFans girl out there.
That's what I'm saying. There's 8, like Kayla's prettier than that girl, in my opinion. So I just, anyways, 43 million a year is starting to make me care a little less about my dignity. You know what I mean? Whoa. Hold on, Thirstcast.
You what?
Man, I could never do the OF thing. Okay. But God bless the women out on there making millions by showing men what they often already see for free on social media. Exactly. That's the point I'm getting to. Let's say it is 4.3 though. That's still crazy. Awful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot of money to be thrown away on some titties.
Throwing at these hoes, dude. It is
what can be said?
Got to get those Usher bucks, man. That story when Usher showed up at the strip club and he was like throwing all this money around, and then the strippers were picking it up and it was like fake money with his face on it.
All right. But Kayla Becker, boy, if she gives me that look, it's going down.
Yeah, awful fucking Thirstcast over here. But yeah, Sophie Rain, I guess, shout her out.
Oh man, what the hell?
Yeah. She got that Tony Khan OF contract over there, apparently. But yeah, that was miscellaneous news. Those in TNA were said to be happy about the live reception of Matt Riddle's debut at Turning Point. So I don't know if you're aware of this, but at the last PLE for TNA, Matt Riddle showed up. Yeah, they would not commit to using him again in the future, though. This is according to Fightful. Riddle found out not long before the show about being brought in. So he was brought in for like a one-shot chat. I guess that answers our question from before. He's not, I don't think he's like contracted full-time. And for some reason, he's very taboo with all of these promotions. I think he's partying and we just don't know. Riddle's not reliable, but who knows about that, because he was last minute brought in to be on this event. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like that's reliable if Fightful's right there. Like last minute, they're like, Riddle, can you come? And then he shows up. Is that a good thing? You know, I say it is. I say that's reliable. So TNA, this is TNA says breaking. Due to the overwhelming winner, TNA is bringing big pay-per-view events to both Los Angeles and New York in 2025, dude. And they're booking the UBS Arena in New York, and they're doing St. Joseph, Missouri, whatever. But this UBS Arena in New York, and all these sickos and marks tried to tell me online. Here, I'm looking up the UBS Arena capacity, because all these sickos tried to tell me that, you know, TNA isn't the number 2 and blah, blah, blah. Oh, you think they're going to outdraw AEW and all this stuff? And I'm like, yeah, on these pay-per-views, they're going to. TNA goes like breaking due to no overwhelming winner. Yeah, so they had like a vote or something like that as well. So they're going to both New York and Los Angeles. I think this was a promotional tactic to get everyone involved in both places, and then you just gauge it and do a show there anyways. But they're going to do the UBS Arena, 17,000 people there for NHL games. Now, did they fill 17,000 people? I don't think so. Obviously, it'll be less than that for wrestling if you do like a big stage, which TNA doesn't really do that often. But I will say this. If they pull this off and do like a 10,000, because they're doing another building that's like 7,000 or whatever. If they do like a 10K for the pay-per-view, because you can't on the weekly TV show. Personally, in my opinion, it's crazy that WWE sells out 10K plus every Raw and SmackDown, but a show doesn't need to do that. Like if you're a weekly television wrestling show, you can be in a studio. You can be in the same building. You can run small buildings every week, and then the PLEs can be in huge buildings for all I care. That's not like what I care about. I don't care if the wrestling's in a big building. You know what I mean? Other than if it's like, okay, you're running a big empty building and the show looks like, why are you doing that? I would have the same criticism for WWE. I have in the past, just didn't have a pod when Vince was running it to the show and they were getting tarped off and just well, you know. But yeah, NXT's like, I'm all about the smaller venue if you can just pack a building. It doesn't matter. Film a good TV show, right? ECW did that all the time. They were packed to the gills. So even though they had like zero production value, they were able to make it look cool. All I'm saying is that if TNA, like I don't give a what they draw on their TV show every week, but their pay-per-views, if their pay-per-views start doing equal to or greater than AEW pay-per-views or like about roughly the same, that's crazy. And I've been saying it, dude. It's AEW versus TNA, MLW, and GCW, not WWE anymore. That conversation's long gone. Yeah, so that was TNA news, and that was our light news segment. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for light news.